switching to the economy now, and well, we've seen the job rate down, unemployment down to 4%. Let's get some analysis. Warren Hogan joins me. He's economic advisor at Judo Bank. Warren, what's your read on this? Because with a low unemployment rate, I should say, that's great, but obviously a lot of skill shortages and labour shortages elsewhere.
Yeah, hi, Kieran. That's exactly it. We've got great demand for labour in this economy. In fact, the strongest we've ever seen, and it's showing up. And people are getting jobs. We had 122,000 net new jobs, full-time jobs created in the month, according to these statistics. Unemployment rate on the verge of 50-year lows. We got to 4% for a month or two, or a few months back in 2008, but we go down to 3.9 or 3.8, and that'll be the lowest since the early 1970s. And it's all about shortages. And that's what I'm seeing and hearing in the business community is trying to find labour is really difficult. We know from ABS data there's about 400,000 job vacancies out there. Normally it's about 200,000. Job ads are at 250,000. They're normally at around 175. So this strong demand for labour is going to continue to drive employment. We can hope, get people into jobs. And push that unemployment rate down. But of course, the friction here is it'll start to put upward pressure on wages, inflation, and interest rates.
So you think it can get down below 3%, the unemployment rate?
Look, the forward indicators are telling us that we can generate this sort of 30, 40,000 jobs a month right through this year. The question is, are we going to sort of get that from the domestic pool of labour, i.e. the unemployed, and bring people in? Part rate was at a record high, so we're dragging people into the workforce. But there has been, obviously, the opening of the borders, and we're starting to see in the early arrivals data people coming in and taking up those visas. So that might take a bit of pressure off. But I think even with the pickup in of people coming into the country from overseas again, I still think we can get unemployment under 3% within the year. And of course, this would be an incredible rate that we haven't seen in generations.
Now, the rate hike momentum is building, isn't it, off the back of what the Federal Reserve did overnight and with their message about more rate hikes to come throughout the year?
Yeah, the Fed's confirmed what everyone knew, that they're starting to lift what is effectively the global interest rate. The US dollar interest rate is still the benchmark, and it's now lifted. Many would argue they should have done it months ago. And they've come and given us a projection overnight that they're going to do 6 or 7 this year. So they're taking their interest rate from 0 to 2, is their expectation. And we know every other economy similar to ours, whether it's New Zealand, Canada, the UK, and now obviously the US, they're all raising rates. So the RBA is starting to stand out here, that they're sort of taking this patient strategy. And of course, it's the old, timing is important. The sooner you get moving on this, the less you have to do. And I think the RBA is going to sort of start to, really change the tune. And they may need to raise rates within the next few months, not only because we're seeing it overseas, but these low unemployment rates are putting pressure on wages at a time when inflation's picking up as well. And I think the next inflation number, which we get in about a month, right in the middle of the election campaign, is going to show what we all know. And these cost of living pressures are surging.
Indeed, they are. So just finally, with those cost of living pressures, the budget less than a couple of weeks away, 10 days away or so, a pre-election budget where governments want to hand out money, but if they do, that's inflationary. It's a tightrope.
Yeah, it is. It's tricky ground. I mean, it is a pre-election budget, and I can't see them doing anything but, trying to help with these cost of living pressures. But you just see with the oil price, that's now down under $100 a barrel. It's only up, it's less than 10% now on where it was pre the Ukraine invasion. So I think that they got to be careful with cutting excise or any of these sorts of things, but the cost of living pressure is there. But I don't think there's much they can do about the cost of living issues now in this budget. What they can do is stop these cost of living pressures getting embedded in the system in ongoing inflation. And perversely, that actually means things like tightening the budget up and raising interest rates to stop this becoming an inflation problem for years to come. And I don't think we're going to see that in this budget, though.
Warren Hogan, appreciate your insights as always. Thanks.
Fantastic. Thanks, Kieran.